Guys, welcome back to Your Mongo's Hobby Time. Today we're doing another delicious... No, we're doing another deck tech. Well, not a deck tech, just a rundown of this Valduk deck that I built. So this is Valduk, the Keeper of the Flame, right here. So he is, at the beginning of your upkeep, for each aura and equipment on Valduk, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token at the beginning of combat, and exile them at the next end step. So, he's pretty fun. He's a mono red deck. We're going to go through the more boring shit first because, well, it's boring and nobody gives a fuck. 36 mountains. So, yep, that's all of them there. 36. All just gorgeous. But one Rogue's Passage, just to give him that extra can't be blocked this turn. I will put a Temple of the False God and a Guildless Commons in there if I think I need them currently. Not the biggest deal, but they are pretty decent. But we've got the rapid equipment rundown because that's kind of the more meat and potatoes of the deck is the equipments. The creatures are good, but the equipments are really what make this deck shine like a shiny demon. So we have Thram Power Suit, Scavenged Blade, Swiftfoot Boots, Lightning Greaves, Dueling Rapier, Vanquisher's Axe, Bone Splitter, Goldvein Pick, Ring of Thune, Dwarven Hammer, Explorer's Scope, Blackblade Reforged, Mirror Shield, Sword of Vengeance, Inquisitor Rosette, Cliffhaven Kitesail, Haunted Cloak, Aeronaut's Wings, Armory of Ira, Leather Armor, Utility Knife, Simian Sling, Rabbit Battery, Ferocity of the Wilds. Now these are the enchantments. So we'll get to the enchantments next. I'm going to put them to the side. We talk a little bit about the more specifically better equipments than the worst ones. Good equipments, Rabbit Battery gives him +1/+1, as well as you can just reconfigure it for 1. So for 2, I give a creature haste. That's quite lovely. Simian Sling gives it +1/+1 and also gives it Afflict, which is also good. I like Afflict. We've got Utility Knife, +1/+1. That's good. We've got Leather Armor, Ward, that's great, but I'm kind of just going to flick through these because they're not that... Well, they're good, but they're not great. Armory of Iro gives it 1/1 counter when it attacks. We've got Aeronaut's Wings, flying in +1/+0. Haunted Cloak, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. Want to get that Vigilance because he's only a 3/2. 3/2, not that strong, but he does have that ability to create elementals. But I want to make sure to keep him a little protected, so the Vigilance is good as well as the Trample. We've got just another Cliffhaven Kitesail. Gives it flying, so it's harder to hit. We've got the Inquisitor Rosette. Gives all my 3/1s, which are delicious red elemental creature tokens, Trample. Not Trample, Menace. And I get a 2/2 Astartes Warrior, so I can have another creature to attack with. Sword of Vengeance gives it the first strike. Now, the first strike is key. If I want to keep him alive, I want that first strike. I only have like one thing that gives him first strike currently because I can't find any other equipments that give him first strike that are either mono red or not. I'll have to look. I haven't really given it a big thought because I've just jumped this. I've built this deck up over like the past like month and more like 2 weeks, but I've only really been using cards that I have found. I will get into a little bit about the deck construction and everything later, but currently, Sword of Vengeance. We've got the Mirror Shield, so if I have to deal with Death Touch, the Death Touch dies. And it also gives it +2 defense, which is just magnifique. We've got the Blackblade Reforged, giving him +1/+1 for lands. I've got 36 lands. He's going to be pretty strong. Dwarven Hammer, +3/+0, and Trample. That's a 6/2 with Trample. That's pretty nice. We've got the Explorer's Scope, so I now get to put more cards on the battlefield. We've got the Ring of Thune. That's Vigilance. Now he has a chance to block if he wants to. +1/+1. That's more defense, as well as treasure tokens. Gorgeous. We've got Bone Splitter. It's a 1-drop for a 2/0 and an equip of 1. Pretty lovely. We've got Vanquisher's Axe, which is a 1-drop for a 2/0, but it's a 2 cost. Not as pretty, but damn well lovely. Dueling Rapier, it's got flash, so if I have like one equipment on the thing, and everyone's like, oh, it's just one equipment, that's fine. I can flash it in, give it +2/+0. Lovely. I've got Lightning Greaves, which is Haste and Shroud. We've got Swiftfoot Boots, Hexproof and Haste, and Scavenge Blade. Enter the battlefield, attach it to Valduk. And of course, Thran Power Suit, which gives it +1/+1 and Ward 2 for each. It gives it +1/+1 for each aura and equipment, and Ward 2 because he just doesn't want to be targeted. Now, that's sort of the meat and potatoes of keeping him alive. Now, keeping him alive is my goal. I want to keep him alive, I want to keep him healthy, I want to keep him strong. Next we have the enchantments. Now, the enchantments are more or less to make sure that either my elementals can get in, or I get more I get more bang for my buck on my draw step and stuff. So first we have Ferocity of the Wilds, giving my 3/1s trample. They already have trample, but now they've got +1, so they're 4/1s. We've got Tectonic Reformation. If I've got too many lands in my hand, I can just pay a couple of mana and cycle those lands to get more cards. Furious Rise, on my end step, I get a card with power 4 or greater. I may play that card until I exile another card. Guess what? I've got multiple things to exile. Shit, I get multiple cards to play. Tavern Brawler, +X+O, at the beginning of the upkeep. I've got cards in here that are like 3s and 4s. He's huge now. This is so nice for Valduk because he just makes him that little bit bigger, just deals that little bit more of a punch. You know, makes it so you want to block him more. We've got give this creature menace and combat damage, gets a treasure token, and if he dies, I draw a card. That's also good. He likes auras. I like this deck, and I like stealing shit. That's why I've got treasure tokens, and that's why I got Sticky Fingers. Dragon Mantle. It's good for a mana pump. I give it. It's got +1. It's enchant creature. Give it +1/+0. It just makes him bigger. I've got Popular Entertainer. My creatures in attack, they give things goad when they collide. That's also nice. And of course, Gift of Wrath gives it +2/+2 and Menace. Still really, really nice. Just some really basic, pretty decent enchantment cards. But they're not really what we're looking for, are we? The enchantments are nice. They do things pretty well. But we have a few more over here. What do we have? Oh, that's for later. What do we have over here? The creatures. Oh, yes. So we've got a 1/1 for 1 that's got haste. Gingerbrute, fucking lovely. Merchant of the Veil, I can discard a card, draw a card, and then I've got to pay 3, discard a card, draw a card. We've got the Togo Goblin Warsmith. Oh, yeah. He's another artifact generator, and if I'm like, oh cool, I have to finish you off with for 3, I've got 3 mana, cool, tap 1, tap 2, sacrifice 2 rocks. Guess what? It's 2. That's a dead fella right there, or a dead creature if I like. We've got Tuck Rubble Fort. It's defender and reach, and my creatures have haste. It's not great. I don't really know what to replace it, so I've just put it in there for the sake of it's okay. Defiler of Instinct gives all my red mana Phyrexian. That's fucking lovely. We've got Reinforced Ronin. Pay 1, it's got haste, I attack with a 2/2, and I get to return it to my hand, so I constantly get to play Reinforced Ronin. We've got Goldhound. It's a first strike. I sacrifice it, I add a mana. We've got Brass Squire. If I have too many equipments and I can't attach all of them, I can just tap him to attach an equipment. Neheb. Now I've got more mana. Because I deal combat damage, I get more mana. And we've got Hellrider. My creature's attack deals 1 damage to that creature or player. That's more damage. And if I've got a Neheb, more mana. And that's just more dead creatures. More dead players, more dead planeswalkers. And of course, Karlach. When you attack, if it's the first combat phase, untap all creatures, they get first strike, and then it's an additional combat phase. If my tramples aren't dead, they're going. If my elementals aren't dead yet, then you're definitely gonna be. Whew! I'm getting very excited because I love this deck to bits. If you can't hear it in my tone, I am smiling quite a bit. Alright, gonna put Valduk in the frame a bit more because I'm an amateur. Next we have the draw spells and the draw and the destroy target artifact because I couldn't find another spell and I wanted to fill it out by being petty. Shatter, destroy target artifact. You know what it is. We have Thrill of Possibility, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Electric Revelation, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and has flashback. Big Score, discard a card, draw 2 cards, get a treasure token. 2 treasure tokens? Yeah, 2 treasure tokens. Tormenting Voice, discard a card, draw a card. Cathartic Reunion, discard 2 cards, draw 3 cards. They're just really damn good for getting some cards. Not great, because it's mono red, and mono red doesn't have the best. It has good card draw, but it has good discard, and I don't have a lot of recursion. And then we have the, well, not really the set pieces, but the mana ramp. We've got Gauntlet of Power. I name red. All my creatures that are red get 1/1s, and my mana, my mountains, tap for 2. We've got Heraldic Banner. My creatures now get +1/+0, and I've got ramp. We've got Manolith, more ramp, and we've got Soul Ring. That's even more ramp. Yeah. Alrighty, we've got two more little meat and potato. We got 2 more little bits, like sort of the sauce. We got the sass. We've got the insult and injury. Injury isn't bad, but the insult is where it's at. Damage can't be prevented. Everything deals double damage. Double strike for everything. Relentless assault. I've got multiple combat steps. Now I've got 2 combat steps. Got Karlach, that's 3 combat steps. Seize the day. That's 4 combat steps. If I choose, that's 1 combat step. Karlach is 2 combat steps. Flashback, that's 3 combat steps. And destructive tampering. Nothing can block. It's just good. But it's not the way I win. Shh, don't tell anybody about this, but I'm not winning with just commander damage, and I'm not winning with just creature damage. I'm winning my way. I'm winning the really, really, really fucking stupid way. So, this is Valduk. At the beginning of your upkeep, I want to reiterate, at the beginning of your upkeep, you create a 3/1 red elemental creature token. It has trample and haste. That's pretty useful. Gonna put them up there. What do we have over here? Warstorm Surge. Whenever a creature under your control deals its power enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power. That's 3 damage for that. Let's say I've got 3 equipments. That's 9 damage for 3 3/1s. Impact Tremors, 4 damage when it enters the battlefield, and it deals the damage to each opponent. Goblin Bombardment. I'm not exiling him. I'm sacrificing him, and that's dealing more damage. Ogre Battle Driver. When it enters the battlefield, when another creature enters the battlefield, it gains +2/+0. We've got Ogre Battle Driver. We've got Warstorm Surge. Those 3/1s are now 5/1s. That's 15 damage. Impact Tremors. That's not just 15 damage. That's 17 damage. We've got Goblin Bombardment. That's not just 17 damage. That's 20 damage. Plus, my favorite, the one that makes all of this possible, Torbrand. Thane of Redfell. That's not 20 damage. That's 22. Plus that's 22, 24, 26, because they're all individual damage steps. They're all individual points of damage. And then, because I've got multiple combat steps, that's 20 damage 3 times. But that's not all. If I have something like not that one, not that one, not that one. That's not really that doesn't really matter. Here we go. Gauntlet of Power. That damage. Those 3 creatures are now 4/2s. Those 4/2s plus impact. Those 4/2s are now dealing. That's 4 damage. Warstorm Surge. That's 4 damage per person. Plus Ogre Battle Driver, that's 6 damage per person. Plus Torbjorn, that's not 6 damage, that's 8 damage. You got Goblin Bombardment, that's 8 damage. Plus Goblin Bombardment, sack a creature, that's 2 more damage. That's 3 damage. Plus Impact Tremors, that's another 3 damage. It just doesn't stop. I've got combat steps that multiply the damage because it keeps on happening. I love this deck because it's mono red, it's really dumb, and it just makes everything really, really fun. But there will always be a but. If this deck doesn't pop off by turn 4 or turn 5, I'm screwed. If someone manages to get rid of my enchantments, I'm screwed. If you manage to to exile Torbjorn, if you manage to exile Valdric with something like an oubliette, I'm screwed. If you manage to block, if you can stop the damage, if you can stop the combat damage, that's fine. But if you make sure that your life total never goes down, I'm screwed. If I don't have enough mana, I'm screwed. If my artifacts don't come in, I'm screwed. If I don't draw enough cards, if I don't get those pieces out onto the battlefield, I am screwed. It is a classic epitome of a red deck. It's taking the gamble. It's making sure it does big damage. But if I choose red and roll up, and if I choose 6 and I roll a 3, I am fucked. But that's why I love mono red decks. I love that gamble, the big hit, the fast pace, and just the mediocrum of the non-stop damage. It is glorious. It is so glorious. But, like I said before, if you manage to stop me before I can get going, that's me done. That's me out of the game. I can't go. You kill my Gauntlet of Power, now I've lost all my mana. Well, not really lost it, but now I have a considerably less amount of mana. You exile all my equipments. Fuck, now I have to make sure to build up from square one. You kill Valduk, you keep killing Valduk, you make it so he's just way more expensive to pop out, so I can't get my creatures out. But if I can't get Valduk out, turn 4, if I can't get Valduk out turn 4, have Gauntlet of Power out in turn 5, have Warstorm Surge on turn 6, I'm fucked. Valduk is a very, very, very quick deck. By turn 6 or 7, I wouldn't be wiping out the opponents, but I'll definitely be doing enough damage that I'm going to be a target and I just can't stop swinging. But, and I keep saying but, I built this deck to challenge myself, and I say challenge, I hate saying challenge because it sounds super dickish. I'm going to move these down because I want to get them into frame to make them more hallucinate. I didn't build this deck to challenge myself. I built this deck because I heard of I watched a little bit of the tournament scene in Standard and Draft and Modern for good old Magic the Gathering. And when I heard about it, the one thing I really liked was the mono red strategy. You know, mono red strategy, the turn 4 kill, you know, the quick succession, the constant ramping up of damage, the non-stop stakes, the gamble. If you can't make it by turn 4, you're not making it at all. And that is what got me super excited about this deck. Because I've played a lot of multicolour decks in my 3 years of playing this game. My first built deck that I built myself and had a lot of help with was a Rakdos aggro deck. It was good. It was fun. It worked. My first commander deck was a Mardu deck. It didn't work, but it was fun because it was a gamble. It didn't really work, but it was fun. My first ever Gruul deck was Gruul Dragons, and it was the gamble on dragons. If I could get my dragons out by turn 5 and 6, I was swinging for damage and I was winning games. And then I started playing combo, and I kind of lost my way a little bit. I started playing combo because I wanted to get consistent wins, and I didn't like losing, and I let my pride and I let my want to be like everybody else get to me quite quickly. I stopped having fun with Magic the Gathering. I stopped having fun with Commander. I stopped enjoying things like Warhammer 40k, and I just got stuck in my own little rut of trying to be like everybody else and following their instinct of, hey, you should play like this, or hey, this is how you make your deck work. And that fucking sucked. It really, really bummed me out and made me feel depressed and just sort of low to the ground, and like I wasn't enjoying the game anymore. But then I found one of my favorite decks to date. I found my Tolvalar deck. A deck I built once no, twice. 2 years when Innistrad came, like a year before Innistrad came out, I built a werewolf commander deck. It was with Ulven of the Krowlin Horde. He basically was a giant fuck-off wolf that was a werewolf creature that was terrible for werewolf decks. He didn't really work. But it was awesome. I liked it. It was a terrible deck that didn't work, but it was big, beady... Just going to move into the frame ball. Big, beady spells. Oop, that's terrible. Yeah, it was big, beady spells. And I hated it. I hated how it didn't work, but I had so much fun that I hated that I loved it even more. And then Tolvalar came out, and then I built a Tolvalar deck, and I loved that to bits. And it treated me, it taught me about tribal commanders. So then I started playing Sir Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale, a Knight Commander deck. I tore that apart. I rebuilt my Mardu deck. I tore that apart. I built an Abzan Reanimated deck. It didn't work. I tore that apart. I built Demir. I hated it. I tore that apart. I just kept building decks. I kept taking them apart. I kept salvaging them for other things. And then I finally discovered what I liked with Magic. The gamble. I like to gamble. I like to play on it. I like high stakes. I like high damage. And I like doing stupid antics. And then I built a Rumi. And I built Voldic. And then my girlfriend got me a commander deck for Christmas. My birthday. No, it was Christmas. I got a commander deck for Christmas. That was awesome. And then I started getting into Commander more and more and more. Just this past year, I've really been into Commander. I've been getting into it. I've been building new decks. I built a Grenzo deck. I realized why I despised playing combo was because I won boringly. I won the way that I found boring, which was the combo that everyone didn't interact with because there was no point, because I just would win. There was no fun. There was no gamble. And this is my gamble deck. But I have another gamble deck I'd like to build one day. I'd like to build a Zerzoth Chaos Rider deck. I'd like to build a gamble deck of chaos. Constant, draw cards, chaos and agony, and it just sounds amazing. But for now, this has been Voldak, Keeper of the Flame. If you guys have any cards that you think would fucking make this deck the scrumptious, the creme de la creme, you know, it would turn this deck. It's a chocolatey. It's not like a mousse, but it's like soft fudge. If you think of a card that would make this deck the fudge, tell me in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe, do whatever the fuck you want to do. I really appreciate this. Thank you for watching this video and for watching my other videos. I like talking about this stuff. Yeah, this was Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!